We'll call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals. If you'll stand for the pledge, Bill, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Here.
Veronica Buchanan.
Here.
Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Joe Machoto. William Harper.
Here.
Renee Curtis.
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We have a quorum.
We have the minutes before you of last month. Are there any changes or corrections in the minutes?
Move be approved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion that be approved.
Second.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. They are approved. Okay. We'll go into just our regular business before we take up that other one. Is that okay? Okay. Our first item of business that we'll have is the Absolute Fireworks, and they are requesting a temporary special exemption approval, and this would begin, I believe, June the 20th. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. The first request we have tonight, 2019-21, involves the location at 6858 Las Casas Pike. It's a commercial services zone property. It's developed as a Dollar General and retail center. They are seeking temporary special exception approval for a fireworks stand for the month, for June and the beginning of July. The applicant, Absolute Fireworks, has several fireworks stands throughout Rutherford County. They've come before you many times. Currently, if it's a site that they have operated in prior years, they only have to get administrative approval or temporary special exception approval administratively approved through our office. This represents a new site, and the tent will be located towards the corner of the parking lot. We posted a sign on the property advertising the special exception hearing. This is the entire retail center, the Dollar General, as well as 2 additional shops located within that building. Where you see this car in the corner where the cursor is floating around is the location that they propose to erect the tent. And surrounding land uses include single-family homes as well as light industrial and commercial uses. You have a mini storage facility to the west. Across the street to the north, you have an industrial contractor's office. It's been used for a myriad of commercial uses, and then the county convenience center. Staff finds that the request meets the special exception criteria, and we recommend approval. And as you can see, this is the location of the tent that they will place on the property. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please, to the podium up here. Yeah, just come on that way. That's fine. This is a new site, but
Yes,
you
sir.
all have several sites throughout the county, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. You have any questions?
So this is a new site, it's not an existing site you've had in the past, correct?
It is a new site, yes, sir.
And it's going to be, there's a new fire code, but it has to be on gravel or something like that?
Right.
It appears to be on...
It's on concrete.
Concrete.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Maybe Bill?
I'm Greg. Yes, sir.
Any other question? You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Do we have a motion on it?
I move to approve.
Have a motion to be approved.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Veronica Buchanan.
Yes.
Joe Machado.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item is a request by Lisa Thompson, who's requests a special exemption approval for an accessory dwelling. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-22 involves the property at 5345 Colonial Circle. It's a request for special exception approval for an accessory dwelling unit that does not meet the design standards for ADUs. The property is located in the RM medium density residential zone. And the reason that Ms. Thompson is appearing before you is her property measures less than 1 acre, and that automatically requires anyone seeking to establish an ADU on their property to obtain special exception approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have received several calls, informational calls regarding this request. There were concerns about whether or not the proposed ADU would be a single-wide mobile home, and the applicant has not indicated that it would be. We would have to advertise that specifically. And then there were concerns regarding the potential that this might affect surrounding property values. Apart from that, there was no strong opposition that was received. The sign was posted on the property, and we advertised in the paper the requests. These are photos of the surrounding homes in this area, and this is the principal dwelling. And the applicant wishes to allow her daughter's family to reside in the principal dwelling, and she will actually move into the accessory dwelling unit once constructed. And this is the general area. So she's in the process, if not already, she's checked out her septic to see whether or not the septic lines can support the installation of the accessory dwelling unit. And then she will, if you approve this request, have to submit proof that they have a septic permit before they can even get a building permit to construct or install the home. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please. Do you have any information you want to add to this? Okay, do we have any questions?
Are you Ms. Thompson? Okay. So is this going to be a stick-built dwelling, or is it going to be a mobile home? I know it doesn't really. It's going to be a stick-built. It is, so it's going to be a foundation home from there on. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who would like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We have a motion to be approved. We have a second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Veronica Buchanan. Joe Machado.
Yes.
Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item we have is a request by Brian Pigg and Tracy Daniels, who is also requesting special exception for approval of an accessory structure. And what do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-23 involves property located at River Barfield Road. It's a request for special exception approval for an accessory dwelling unit that does not meet the design standards for ADUs, involving a property located in the RM zone. And this is a 5.3 acre parcel, and the applicants plan to construct their principal dwelling on this property. It's a custom home, and they're including an attached ADU. And the reason that they're appearing before you to obtain special exception approval is that the attached ADU exceeds the 25% of the gross floor area of the principal dwelling limitation that's established for attached ADUs, and it's approximately 33% of the principal dwelling. And so we have placed placed a sign on the property, received many phone calls, mostly informational. No one really indicated any opposition to the request apart from some concerns about the placement of the home on the property. However, the location that the applicant has identified on the concept plan does appear to be compliant, well in compliance of our minimum setbacks for the RM zone. So this is a photo of the sign. It's an open field surrounding homes. And this is the adjacent property owner, and the way their house is positioned on their property, it just so happens that they'll probably be looking directly at the back of this home. So this is the location that the applicant identified on their drawings that they submitted to our office. And this is the floor plan, so you'll see the accessory dwelling unit towards the back of the property. The front elevation is the second one down, and this is what neighboring properties will see from River Barfield Road, so you will not know that there is a second dwelling that is located within this home. And we find that it meets the standards for special exception approval, and we recommend approval.
I know where Barfield Road is. I'm not familiar with River Barfield Road. Is that,
It's going up Barfield Road, there's Lawrence on the right, River Barfield is over on the left, going out towards Midland.
do they connect?
No.
No.
Now,
River-
River Barfield runs off of
Okay.
Barfield Road.
Right, and I think it just terminates as a dead-end road, so it's very quiet.
It's a dead-end road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have anyone here representing this request? If you'll come around, please.
Mr. Chairman, while they're coming above, ask staff a question. Did you say it's an attached?
It's attached.
It's attached,
Yes, sir.
okay? I got a question for
Come
Coach.
on around to the
Okay.
podium.
Good afternoon.
Do you have any additional information?
I can speak to the placement of the dwelling on the land. I actually spoke with the neighbors shortly after they got their letter a couple of weeks ago. Where it's drawn on the property is actually, I'm going to set the house about 300 feet off the road. Where it's drawn, if you look at scale, that's probably about 150, 200 feet. But we're actually going to place the house about midway on the property because that's where it's the highest. So we'll get proper drainage. But after I spoke with the neighbor regarding that, they didn't have any particular issues to speak of.
Gary, do you have?
Yeah, so there's no existing structure on the site,
No, sir.
so are you going to be building,
Correct.
stick built on both of them?
It's one dwelling, it just has an in-law suite. It's the left side of the lower left corner of the drawing.
But wouldn't that be so you're going to have a different means of egress, entrance?
Now, same, it does have its own outside. It's, if you look at the side elevation there, you can see it from there. It's not visible from the right-of-way.
You're going to be building, and it's actually going to different
it's-
kitchens and all this other stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
Jerry?
Brian?
I am.
Who's going to live there?
My wife and I and our son will be in the primary residence, and my 72-year-old mother will be in the in-law suite.
So, for the record, it will not be for rental or Airbnb?
Absolutely not.
No Airbnb?
No, sir.
It's a
Renee.
beautiful plan. I can tell it's a beautiful plan.
Thank you.
My question, though, is, was this home plan custom drawn for this lot? And if so, did your architect or whomever your person that drew the plans not know the code?
This is a plan that my wife and I found online when we were looking at ideas to build a house. After my dad passed 3 years ago, my sister and I said, whichever one of us gets a house first, we're going to make a spot for Mom. And we kept coming back to this plan and just fell in love with it. And
So you haven't had it tweaked or anything? You just bought it stock and
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
building it stock plan?
yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Bill, did you have a question? Any other? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
Move to accept.
Have a motion to be approved. Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Veronica Buchanan, Joe Michotto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
William Harper,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes, it is approved. The next item we have is a request by Donna Megalis Khan. Is that right? You may have to correct me on that one. The temporary special exception approval for a community event involving an open house studio. And what do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-24 involves the property at 8265 Las Casas Pike. It's a request for temporary special exception approval for a community event involving an open house studio event located on the property located in the RL low-density residential zone. And this is the applicant's home site. It's a 5-acre parcel developed as a single-family home and a large accessory structure that is used as a studio by the applicant. And as part of a community event, or they would like to hold a 2-day event spanning 2 days that's opened and advertised to the general public to showcase some artist work and hold workshops over that 2-day period. And it will involve some temporary signage to alert passersby or attendees of the location, because it is a private location. You cannot see this from the road. And the applicant came into our office with a completed application ready to apply for the special exception, and it is very specific to these 2 days. So it's unlike the request that we heard last month that was the jewelry studio that was going to take place over the year, a home-based business. So this is just a temporary special exception. These are photos of the surrounding area, and this is the entrance into the site where they will hold the 2-day event. We found that it met the criteria for special exception, and we recommend approval.
Do we know what type of event it's going to be?
The applicant included a written description, so it's to showcase some artist work in ceramics, and they're going to hold some ceramics workshops in the structure. So it will include both display and also instruction.
The 2-day event. Okay. Do we have anyone here representing this? Come on around, please. You want to kind of tell us a little bit about the activity?
Yeah, it's basically an open studio. I do ceramic sculpture, and I have 8 ceramic artists joining me. And there's just one workshop on the Sunday following with 5 attendees so far. I was hoping for more. But, so we're going to show the art on the Saturday and then have a workshop on the Sunday. And
You're not expecting a large group, is that?
It's the first time I've done this, so ideally I'd have hundreds, but I really have no idea to know how
You've done
many.
this kind of thing before?
I have as part of the art studio tour, the Stones River Craft Association. I did one there. I had a different studio in a different location prior to that, so it's kind of a first time for this one. Are you done? Yes, I am. Yeah.
Any questions? Sounds like a good activity. Too bad I'm not an artist, though.
Well, you can come and enjoy it.
Any questions, please? You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to be approved. Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Veronica Buchanan, Joe Michotto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
William Harper,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. The next item we have is a request by Verizon Wireless and they are requesting special exemption for a communication tower. And what do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2019-25 involves the property at 6812 Bradyville Pike. It's a request for special exception approval for the establishment of a monopole communications tower measuring 159 feet and located on the property in the RM zone. And this is the site. It's a 20-acre site off of Bradyville Pike. The tower site will be located towards the rear of the property, probably where it's most elevated. And if approved tonight, they would have to submit for site plan approval, and that site plan would be considered by the Planning Commission at the date that it's scheduled. And during the site plan review, they'll demonstrate meeting all of our design criteria. However, the applicant has submitted the third-party consultant review supplied by Mr. Larry Perry, indicating that the request meets all the criteria for Section 1105 of the zoning ordinance, which relates to telecommunications towers. This is the existing home located on the front of the site, and then surrounding homes and properties. So, and then, let's see. We received several informational calls regarding this request. You'll see that there will be an access road that's improved and constructed to go to the tower site. So you can see the shape of the property, and the tower will be located towards the rear. This is the elevation of the tower itself, and they are showing co-location opportunities for 3 additional antennas. And then they've showed us some of the landscape plan. They'll be able to utilize some of the existing vegetation for their landscape plan, and then the site plan itself will have locations for future additional carriers to house their cabinets. So we find that the request meets the criteria. We have included some conditions, and we recommend approval.
Mr. Perry, did you want to talk about this first? Okay. Who do you have representing this? Yeah. If you'll come around just for a minute, please. Do you have anything else you want to add to it?
Actually, no, I think Danielle covered it. I'm sorry, Victoria Farmer. I'm from Ooltewah, Tennessee, and I'm here to represent the applicant, Verizon Wireless. Yes, Danielle covered it pretty well. I am here to answer any questions, however, if anybody has.
Jerry?
Have you seen a copy of the consultant's report?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Are you good with the 4 recommendations that he made?
Yes.
Is that a part of the record?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this request. Close the public hearing. We have a motion on it.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion be approved.
Second.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Veronica Buchanan.
Yes.
Joe Michaud,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis, Zane Cantrell.
Yes. It is approved. Last month, we turned down a request, the Nemeth property. This was, where was this located?
The request was located at the corner of Veterans Parkway and Barfield Road.
Okay. And it seems that there was some additional information that they wanted to share with the BZA, and our ability to decide whether we want to rehear this or not would be a decision that you all would make. And if we do, it'll need to come back to us next month. They claim that there's some additional information out there that were not supplied to us. Normally, we don't rehear these sort of things. We just let them go their course, and they always come back to us several months later. So, but I'm going to leave this up to you, whatever. I think, Gary, you made the motion on that, and you seem to be very familiar with it. So do you think this is something we need to rehear?
The letter here states that discussions with a couple of members. I can't speak for the rest of the board of zoning appeals. I did have a phone call from an individual concerning this that has something to do with it. Not the person that signed the letter, but and a question that I had or concern, he did address that, and I did tell him that he could contact Danielle if they wanted to have it reheard. That I was only one member of this board, that I'm and only one vote for this board. But the question I had, he answered it. I don't have a problem with it coming back, but you all can vote how you feel. That's up to you. And but I'll make a motion that we rehear it next month. Based on the information I heard the other day.
Well, normally on these items, unless they can show that there was something different or additional information, and they claim that there is this time, so I don't know. Do you want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to rehear it.
A motion on the table now that we rehear this for next month. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Any further discussion? Call a roll on this, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Veronica Buchanan. Joe Machado.
No.
Jerry Sartain.
No.
William Harper.
No.
Renee Curtis.
No.
Zane Cantrell.
Mine is immaterial, no. So the motion died. So we will not rehear it. It'll come back at the appropriate time. Do we have any other business that needs to come before the BZA?
Mr. Chairman, just recognizing Veronica, this is her last meeting, and want to thank her for her service.
Well, are you going to, you won't be here next month? Well, bless your heart.
No, I know. No, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rutherford County. It was an honor to serve.
I'm going to say this. I've known Veronica for a long time. I served with her on the Planning Commission, and I got to serve with her on the Board of Zoning Appeals. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to sit beside her, and we've got to be good friends, and I'm going to miss her.
Anyone else want to talk about her? You can see how much we respect you and the work that you've done on the BZA. You've been above board, you've been honest, you've followed the letter of the law, and that's all we can ask of you. And you've done an outstanding, wonderful job. And the next time we get together for a meal, we're going to make sure you're invited. Anything else before us? We are adjourned.